Okay, before we create our custom adapter, let's see how we can have a logged in user be able to post um, status on here. So let's go ahead and do that. And we can accomplish that by simply going to update a status activity. And first of all, let's edit the layout, how we're going to set it to look. It's not the menu that I want. It's the layout of activity update status. Same problem here with the string here. Because I need to fix my string XML file. And that should work. Okay. So in here, excuse me, I'll be using a linear layout. Change that to a linear layout and change it here as well. And I'll keep the padding. Get rid of this context and add an orientation of vertical. And that's pretty much it. All right, and the first thing we want to do is add a text box over here and edit text. So we'll edit text. Then the width will match the parent, and the height I will aim for about 200 device pixels or DPs, or something that's too big. About 150 DPs should be good. Nope, about that size, or even 100. Yeah, something small like that. And I'll give it a hint. And I'll say, what's going on? And I will lay it out with the gravity of top so that it appears at the top right there. So I want it. And we'll give it an ID of update status text box. And then after that, we'll add a button and we'll match the parent. And the height is going to wrap the content. And we'll give it a text of update status or update. And I'll give it an idea of status update button. And this needs to be like this, at plus ID and that. Okay, so there we have it. So let's go ahead and now to our update status activity and listen to the click on this, and now we grab this text and store this status into parse again as the user. So what we're going to do is now close all these unnecessary files here. Call this, and I'm going to open protected. I'm going to say protected. I'm going to call this edit text, and status update, and then protected button update status update button. And then to edit text here, we say initialize, and then we say status update equals to, and then we call that edit text, and then we find the view by its ID, r.id dot the status update ID is update status text box, update status text box, then status update button equals to cast it into a button, and then we find the view by its ID. We say r.id dot update status. What I name this? Status update button. Okay. Now let's listen to the status. So listen to status update button click. So here we say status update button dot set on click listener, and we say new on. Okay, for some reason sometimes it just doesn't work. Okay, so set on click listener. Now here we do the same thing. Get the edit the status user has entered, and then convert it to a string. So to do this, we say string new status equals to status update dot get text dot to string. And then this time, excuse me, we don't need to trim it because it's not. Some users would like to have spaces on their statuses for some reason, you know. And now here we now save the status in backend or cloud or parse if you like. And then to do this, we just simply say parse object, create a new object, create a new class, and we're going to call this status object equals to new parse object, and then we give it a class name or the table name that we want to create, and this is called, I'm going to call this status. You can name it whatever, and this is going to be the class name here in parse. Okay, if I get this working, so this would be the class name that would appear here, so you should keep note of this. And then we say now status object dot put. Now we put the status, and the first parameter it takes here, it takes two parameters, the key and the content that you're going to enter. So in this case, we're going to put the status object. So the first parameter that it takes here is what you're going to name the role. Like this one is username, password, author. So what are we going to name the role? With this, we're going to call this new status, and then the status object, or we could have named it whatever. I could have named it new status. So that kind of, actually that's a mistake. Yeah, status object is not supposed to enter there. This is supposed to be new status here. Actually, the string that these are added in the text box now. This is what is going to be entered into parse. So we put it as the next second parameter. And then here we say status object dot put. Now we also want to put the username of who posted this status, so that we have the status and the username, so that we can know who posted. We can arrange. We can also use it to find posted by the user. So there's a cool trick that I always use. It's not a cool trick. It's just everybody's way of using. I've seen, and that is simply by saying get the current user, and this is simply done by saying parse user current user equals to parse user dot get current user. And then now the current user is, we can get that username by saying string current user equals to current user, the current user, this, okay, current user username is equal to current user, this current user dot dot get username. So we get the current user's username and hold it in a string. And now we can just simply say status object dot put and simply say username, user or user who posted it, and then the user is current username. And then now we say save, and then we say, status object dot save in background. And this is all in parse, so we don't need a callback here. We just to allow the user that it's successfully posted, unless we just, we need a, we might add a callback as well and say new, so that we could give people a message that they've posted successfully and maybe take them back to the home page. Yeah, let's do that actually. So new, saving background, and then we're saying new save callback, and then we say, I always like checking the exceptions here. If e equals null, then we have successfully stored the new status in parse. Else there was a problem storing new status. Advise user. All right, so at this point, I'll go to the login activity. This is the point where I'll now start reusing my code and just copy this alert dialog to alert the user, and I'll go back to the home page. I'll close this home page right now and update status, and okay, and then this is now update status activity.this. So that should work. It should give us an error with the error message. And now, so successfully posted, we want to alert the user. We'll say toast.makeText, and then the context is update status activity.this, and then we say success or something. And then the next thing is toast.lengthlong.show. So we show the toast, and now take user to the home page. Okay. So we take the user to the home page here. So we'll just simply use an intent and then take user home equals to another intent, the same intent. And here we are going to start from update status activity.this to homepage activity.class. And actually this is now, I wonder what the problem is here. Oh, new, forgot to initialize it, instantiate it actually. And then start activity, take user home. So let's try to post a status and see if we are taken to the home page. First of all, if we have data in the parse backend, and that should be evident if we are taken home. So let's try to update the status, and we should see a class here called status. So hi there, this is a test status update. And then update, then success, and we're taken back to the home page, so which is great. And then when we refresh, we should see an object, status, and the user, which is me, Ronnie, this guy. So if we try to post it and maybe there's a problem with our text, we'll get an error. So there's some checks that we can perform here. Where's that Android Studio? To check if before we post, we can say we need to check if the status update is not empty, the edit text is not empty, so that we can post, because we don't want users to be posting empty statuses. We want them to post status that are valid. So we can do that by saying, heading over here before we post, we save it in background. We're coming here to say if then we say if new status dot is empty, don't post. So this is where we're going to give an error. Like say, you can just use the same alert dialog here. Just copy this and just say, instead of e.message, and say status should not be empty. And say, oops, something like that. And now, if it's checked else, we now do this, the rest of the code. And let's control, and then options command L to arrange that, and then okay, so call API kind of wait. Okay, so this we can solve this by adding a suppress add new API thing, and that should handle it for us. So let's try to update status and say hi there. Or actually, our goal was to leave it empty, and we should get that message. Oops, status should not be empty. So then when we enter, test again. now we get a success message. All right, so in the next video, we'll start talking about now custom adapter. Since we have data in our path, we're able to put data in parse. We're able to store statuses with the username. Let me actually log out and create another account and say Udemy, so that I have different status from different people. I don't know if that's the email, but it should be taken. Then update the status. Hi there. This is Udemy. Update. Got a typo error. Then if we refresh, we'll see a user is Udemy and the new status. And we have another user called Udemy and the email address. And so in the next status, since we have the statuses in our back end, we're going to look at how now to populate the statuses and arrange them nicely with the username, like we did in the other app. With the username now displaying here with this beautiful icon that I just put in there, and the status.